Hey guys, this is Steve Huff, SteveHuffPhoto.com. Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about something different. Today I want to talk about, is the Leica SL still relevant in 2019? I'm going to talk about it, share images that I've captured with it over the last 4 years, and let you guys know what I think. Like, is it still a good buy in 2019? So let's talk about it. The Leica SL came out in 2015. I had one of the first ones out of the Leica factory. I remember I had pre-ordered it months before when I knew about it, so I was #1 on my dealer's list. I received it at the time with the 24-90 lens, which was the kit lens at the time. It actually came as a set, the SL and the 24-90. And while it was a huge combo, as in size huge, the quality from that combo was stellar, especially for 2015. I immediately started falling for the camera, but it wasn't until I started using it with little tiny adapters, or I should say a little tiny adapter, the Leica M to TL adapter, and I started using it with M lenses. That's when I really fell deep and hard for the SL. I mean, here I was, at the time when it came out, it was something like, what, $7,000 or $7,500 when it came out. And then you add an M lens to it, you're looking at a $10,000, $11,000, $12,000, $13,000 combo for just the SL in one lens if you're choosing a Leica branded M lens that's, say, an f1.4, such as like the 50 Summilux, right? So it was not a cheap camera, and I'm not a guy who can just afford to go spend $12,000 on a camera setup and not worry about it. If I do that, you know, my finances get stressed, I get stressed, and with me and the SL, we had kind of an interesting relationship over the last 4 years or so. I sold my SL, my original SL, because I felt bad about spending all that money, and then, you know, time went by and I missed it. I bought it again. I sold that SL. Time went by, I missed it. I bought it again, and it's just an amazing camera. It's one of those cameras that somehow keeps pulling me back in. I have many cameras come and go. Sometimes a manufacturer will send me a camera to review, such say the Sony A9 or A7 III, right? And those cameras come and go, as good as they are, and they are fantastic. For me, in order for a camera to hook me, it has to have something special about it. And I've concluded that the SL, for me at least, has some kind of magic mojo that keeps pulling me back to it. And I don't know if it's just the quality of the body, the build, the style, the design, and not everybody likes it. Some people hate that camera. And I find it interesting that so many people have trashed the SL over the 4 years, and some of these people are praising the Panasonic S1 when it's really a copy of the SL, just with a modern day sensor and a more DSLR-ish body, right? It's really an SL modernized, because the sensor in the S1 is fantastic. But let's get back to the SL. I want to talk about, if you're in the market today for a full frame 35mm camera and you have some cash to spend, is the SL a good choice, even over that Panasonic S1? Well, all I can tell you is my experience, and that's what I've been doing so far. The SL has something about it. It has sleek lines, gorgeous build, it feels really good in the hand, especially when you use it with little M mount lenses. Lenses like these. Here's a Voigtlander 50 f1.2 manual prime lens. Now this can go right on the SL or the S1 via a small tiny adapter. Gorgeous lens. Voigtlander again, 35 f1.2. This is a gorgeous lens. This is the version 2 lens. This gives you an artistic, dreamy, really beautiful rendering and color performance. Then you have lenses like this. This is a new lens, actually. Well, a remake. You know, it's new on the market. You can buy it new for like $450 or something, $469. It's the Zenit Helios lens. This is an 85 f1.5 with very unique bokeh. This is a hefty lens. This feels about as heavy as a Leica Noctilux, and it's like 460 bucks or something. Beautiful lens, and this will work on the SL or the S1. One of my favorites, the Canon 50 f1.2. I use this on the SL, and here is the adapter. This adapter cost me, I think, 35 bucks at Amazon. It's cheap, but it only works with these Canon lenses on the SL or S1 if you want to use manual focus. This does not have autofocus, but using manual focus on the SL or the S1 is a treat because those EVFs are huge, high resolution, and it makes it very easy to focus manually. Now here's another lens. This is the kit lens for the Panasonic S1. This is the 24-105. It kind of feels like a kit lens. It's f4 design, but it does have the optical image stabilization, which really improves the S1's 5-axis when you use it with this lens. But this is a great lens as well. But you can see how much bigger it is, right? So say we take the 50 f1.2 from Voigtlander next to the 24-105, this lens is small. So when you're using a lens like that on a camera like the SL or the S1, I happen to have an S1 right here, which is the same size as the SL, you can see what a nice smallish setup it is. I mean, the camera's big, but it feels great, right? So these are the kind of lenses you can attach to the SL via little adapters like this, right? This allows me to put M lenses on the SL. And this, to me, is my favorite way to shoot the SL because the SL camera body is simple. There's no buttons, really. There's no big dials. There's simple controls that are intuitive once you learn them, and that takes about a day or two of getting used to it. There's nothing on the back to distract you. You have your shutter button, your exposure comp dial. So it's very intuitive, it's very nice, and it's very simple. Leica doesn't pack their cameras full of fluff that can distract you from taking the image. They're pure, they're simple, and that's why I'm so drawn to Leica. For me, the SL is attractive for that reason. The beautiful color, it has beautiful dynamic range, even by today's standards. It has a depth to the images that you don't often see in many digital files. Now, I've been shooting the S1 here from Panasonic, and while it's better in low light, it's got the 5-axis, it's the same size and handling of the SL, just has more buttons on the camera. It's not the same as shooting the SL. And while the S1 is technically superior, I still am drawn to the SL. And I think it's for those reasons, that Zen-like approach, that, just simplistic nature and that feeling of confidence you get when you hold the camera. Now, there's something special about the SL. To me, it's already a classic, right? It's in my top 2 or 3 cameras of all time. It's one that I just get drawn to again and again and again. And there is an SL2 on the way from what I'm hearing. If you believe the rumor sites, there's going to be an SL2, but it is rumored to have the 47 megapixel sensor, the same one that we see in the Q2, which means not as good low light that will come from that camera. And I'm not a 47 megapixel kind of guy, as I've said in recent videos. I'm a 24 megapixel guy. So I kind of love the SL as is. I just wish it had the newer EVF. Even if you threw in 5-axis, that would be cool, but keep that same body. I think Leica's gonna change the body in an SL2, but the SL2 might come out and be $7,500 or $7,000, where the current SL, I think you can get it anywhere between $5,500 and $6,000 new, which is still a lot of money. So the SL is not something to take lightly. It's going to cost you a lot of money, even though it's 4 years old. But the SL, my argument is, it's one of those cameras that stands the test of time. It's going to be just as good in 5 years as it is today. And today it's just as good as it was 4 years ago when it came out. The images coming from the SL hold up to anything coming out of any modern day camera that's 35mm format. The only exception is in uber low light. Once you get to 12,800 ISO, the SL does have more noise than modern day sensors. But if you're shooting in just average low light or daylight most of the time, you're getting amazing image quality from the SL. So the SL to me does stand the test of time. It is still a valid camera for 2019. And here is what's going to sum it up. It's built like a tank. it's simplistic. It doesn't have anything that gets in your way. It still has the second best EVF in the world built into it. The controls are intuitive once you learn them, and even things as simple as the on and off switch that feels so solid and nice, the joystick on the back with that solid click, the diopter on the EVF that you just turn the big porthole, you turn it to match up to your eyes so you can see what you're shooting. Everything is easy to use and simplistic. It feels like you could use it as a hammer. It feels like it would survive a war out in the battlefield, and it inspires confidence. Now, when you use it with M lenses, like I showed you, or Canon EF lenses, small primes, fast primes that you manually focus, it's a joy to use. It's no longer front heavy from those SL lenses, the native lenses. It just feels right shooting M lenses on this camera. That 50 f1.2 from Canon is gorgeous on the SL. The colors are gorgeous. The image quality is rich and dense. It's a lovely camera. Now, if you want features such as 5-axis image stabilization, eye autofocus, or fancy tricks like the Sony cameras do, you're not going to get that with the SL. The SL is a pure photographic camera, a camera for photographers. And it's just simply a gorgeous camera. If you have the money to spend and you're looking for full frame, mirrorless, say, not a DSLR, the Leica SL is still relevant in 2019, even though it's still expensive. You get what you pay for. Now, with the Leica, you're paying for the quality, the name, the style, the design, and the experience that you really don't get shooting any other camera. And not everybody gets that deep with cameras, I understand. Some people just want something that works and takes a nice image. Then there's people like me and some of you watching who develop a bond with their camera. That's the kind of camera the SL is. That's the kind of camera Leica usually tends to make. You know, they've had a few stinkers here and there, but there's some special cameras within the Leica stable that they've come out with. And for me, the SL is one of them. So over this video, I showed you some images. Those were all taken with the SL and Leica M glass over the last 4 years. Some great memories made with the SL. And right now I'm shooting the Panasonic S1. I'm hoping to have my review up within about a week or so. So be on the lookout for that. If you don't want to miss that, thumbs up and subscribe here. Also check out stefaphoto.com, where I'll have the full written review. And I just wrote an article about the SL today. Well, if you're watching this a week from now, it was a week ago, for example. But there's an article over there. I'll link to it in the description below. And thank you very much for watching. I'm Steve Huff, and I will see you next time. Bye.